think I've had enough. I might get a little drunk. I say what's on my mind. I might do a little time.
One of his fellow guests, on hearing this, said to him, "Blessed is the one who will dine in the kingdom of God." He replied to him, "A man gave a great dinner to which he invited many. When the time for the dinner came, he dispatched his servant to say to those invited, 'Come, everything is now ready.' But one by one they all began to give excuses for themselves. The first said to him, 'I have purchased a field and must go examine it. I ask you, consider me excused.' And another said, 'I have purchased 5 yoke of oxen, and am on my way to evaluate them. I ask you, consider me excused.' Another said, 'I have just married a woman, and therefore I cannot come.' The servant went and reported this to his master. Then the master of the house in rage commanded his servant, 'Go out quickly into the streets and alleys of the town, and bring in here the poor and the crippled, the blind and the lame.' The servant reported, 'Sir, your orders have been carried out, and still there is room.' The master then ordered the servant, 'Go out to the highways and hedgerows, and make people come in that my home may be filled. For I tell you, none of those men who were invited will taste my dinner.'"
Somebody would drive it. Ooh, that's all I want. And I know that
The parable begins by comparing the feast of a wealthy man to Judgment Day. God first invites the wealthy or the chosen people. Those people, in the times when it was written, had disgraced the man by planning to go and canceling on him last minute. They failed to bring him honor. Brown notes that these people have excuses that don't make sense. Who buys a farm without inspecting it in the first place? Those people, scholars agree, can represent the haves in life, but also the chosen people of Israel. The banquet leader could either try to do one of two things. He could blacken the reputation of those who have, or sulk off by himself. But, in a twist, he does neither of the two. He tries to get the poor to come and make his friend jealous, but the banquet ends up being a banquet for the poor and the oppressed, the Anawin, and the man is shamed. This communicates the idea that God will not necessarily save spots in heaven for the haves in life, but for the marginalized and oppressed. It is those people who will find their way into heaven, and once the haves reject the invitation of God, it will never be extended again. Some have compared this to when Jesus would invite sinners and the Anawin, such as Zacchaeus the tax collector, to sit with him, and would not sit with the wealthy and powerful Pharisees.
For our group, the reinterpretation of the Great Feast was related to NCAA's college basketball tournament. We used the host as the NCAA, inviting in the rich and the wealthy, the big-name teams that everybody wants to see succeed. But they don't always have the appreciation that the small schools like Dayton and Florida Gulf Coast have, which is why sometimes they end up being the ones who are the winners of the feast and not the rich.
Another example is when Loyola attends the annual Sleep Out. Loyola encourages students to go out and experience what it's like to be homeless. Students were encouraged to talk to the homeless and invite them to talk about their background story, similar to how the master told the slave to go out and invite all the Anawim to his feast.
I'm 4 or 5 seconds from wildin', and we got 3 more days till Friday. I'm just trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear I wish somebody would tell me, ooh, that's all I want.
Woke up an optimist. Sun was shining, I'm